Okay, so tonight I made a list. I think I'm just gonna start dating the date because like there's just a lot of different topics and I don't feel like making videos about all of these. I'm gonna start by saying this. I've made other videos about it on the channel. If you were here when I was doing like kind of vlogging through dinner every night, go back to those videos. I think I have a playlist called like food or something. You can go back and kind of like watch those. I think I would basically like trim my thoughts over the meal. But if you are a black woman wherever you are, especially if you don't have a family yet, your primary focus should be 3 meals a day. You should be contemplating, where am I going to go to breakfast today? Where am I going to go to lunch today? Where am I going to go to dinner today? Put it on the Google Calendar and just put it breakfast, lunch, dinner as events that repeat every day. Put it at the same time. And then every day update the calendar of where you go to dinner and put little notes about what you got, how much you spent, who took you to dinner, if you paid for it yourself, whatever way. And then figure out ways to finance that. That could be your whole ass life. That's 100 years right there of just doing that. Okay, then like take your bath, sleep, listen to your music. I can recommend albums for you. We can do this for another 50 years. Bet. Like some of you guys have been here from me doing it then. It's been about what, 2 years? We're gonna keep going. We're gonna do it in different countries. Like, this is a lifestyle. This kind of leads me into, I saw a video about another girl posted it, and I'll put it in the description box, but what she said was like, the Pinterest girlies need to stop. It's like basically the girls who are romanticizing, or they're basically they're making videos about their daily life, and it's basically like Pilates, smoothies, dressing up, like soft girl life, and that's how everyone's coming up with all these like terms for the videos. Now, here's another thing. I didn't really realize. I was wondering why I kept seeing the black girlies like make these videos explaining the concepts, and then I saw like the white girlies who were just like living the concepts, and it was like very confusing to me because I'm like, why do the black girlies feel the need to explain something that exists in society? It says like, I actually made a video a while ago that was called like Taxi, because I'm like, I don't know if some black people know what Uber is. I'm not really sure, because I know I have like people from all the different countries and stuff who engage with the channel in some way. So I'm like, let's level the playing field. And then like, I saw that Iman Hallman wrote an article where she was describing a bathtub like it was this like new invention, and I was like, I don't really know where to start. Like, this is insane. Like, her actual article was like, I grew up with a bathhouse. And I was like, what? Bitch, you don't have a bathroom? Like, you could just, the bathtub is like right there. You couldn't just go. And like, clearly that wasn't a thing. And I was just really confused. Oh no, we've got some sad roses. Ooh, they're all weeping. They're like weeping willows. Do you see them? Oh no. Not thriving. Oh, I'm so sorry, baby roses. We should have done better for you. Anyway, let's go on to the next topic. You can watch that video if you want. The Pinterest girly lifestyle is real. Those of you who have just engaged with models for a while, because they are just now getting Instagram accounts that are verified where they're posting like real pictures of stuff and campaigns, and there's models.com, so you can like literally see the ads and the agencies like right in line, so you don't have to do all this research. But if you've been here for a while, then you know, like you could just follow the model stories and see the way that they're living, and then just mimic their lifestyle. If you've been following Jasmine Tukes, her and the other girl started JoJo, which is that lifestyle brand, right? It's like Lululemon, but it's their brand of yoga pants. And the whole thing, if you're a girl and you just like go walk every day, do one Pilates class and have a smoothie, I mean, that will sustain you. That's like all you really need, and you'll stay pretty for a very long time. Secret life hack, I guess everyone else didn't know. If you don't have the stress of like a loser bringing you down, right? And then whatever is happening with your family, if you leave them in the past, then literally all you have is your little calendar with 3 meals a day and maybe some cats. I'll post the other video that I made that's about cat core lore. I saw you guys, well, some of you guys really enjoy. Do you see her eating the flowers? Look. Anyway, she's yep, we caught you red-handed. Busted. Yeah, so Anyway, the Pinterest lifestyle girlies aren't fake. It's just literally you're not living the lifestyle, or you don't know anyone living the lifestyle. And like I said, if you're a girl, I think you should, and you're actually into being girly, go live in a more conservative place. Like Nashville is a good place to do it. You'll see it all day. There's really girls who are living the lifestyle. Some of them are in college. Like I feel like if you're thinking about schools, Belmont and Vanderbilt are really great schools. Like I'm gonna make another video about those two schools because I'm just learning more and more about the schools. But man, everybody on the campus is pretty much hot. Like really attractive people, and from all over the world. I've seen African girlies. I've seen a nice variety of everyone, and everyone is really attractive. So, boo to the campuses with ugly people. Don't go there. Anyway, so I saw that Matt Walsh and Ann Coulter had a talk on her Substack. You should subscribe if you didn't. It's really funny. People always ask me, well, you don't have to ask me, but if you know me, then you know that I call Ann Coulter basically my godmother. I didn't really like the politics of my biological mother, so I dumped her for Ann Coulter. And then when I have questions about life, I just ask Ann Coulter, and she responds sometimes. So anyway, she spoke with Matt Walsh, and they were talking about Am I a Racist, the movie. Now, there were just some really funny takes. Like, I don't agree with Ann about everything, but there was one part I thought was just so fucking true to life. There was this Indian woman, they had something called like sit down to dinner or something, and there's an Indian woman who's saying like, the whole concept of America at all needs to go, blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, I think it's hilarious when, first of all, the Indian people continue to try to like participate in American culture, like the Vivek Ramaswamy shit and like Kamala Harris. It's just like, I feel like some of you who are in support of these people have no idea like how awful Indian racism is. Indian racism is worse than like maybe even white racism, because it really, I think it stems from like colonialism in a sense, mostly because like they never really got justice for what the British did to them, right? Like the British colonized India as well. And there's all of this shit. Like I was watching some videos about biology, and I think Indian people's biology has changed to the point where like most of them are prone to diabetes because all they had access to was like rice for a while. So they had too much starch in their diets. And then like they are literally like hyper prone to diabetes because rice is full of sugar. So if you're eating sugar all day and then you starve otherwise, you're going to like lose enzymes and you're going to have a hyperactive thyroid, and there's all of these things. So racism impacts health. Like racism is also, but also the caste system is crazy because it's like still in place. And I was listening to an Indian lawyer in America who was talking about how there's many Indian people in America who have talked about how the caste system has inhibited them from just thriving in tech, mostly because many departments are full of like Indian men. So they just bring their culture with them. And so I thought it was very interesting when Ann Coulter made that comment about Vivek Ramaswamy, why she wouldn't vote for him because he's Indian. And there was like a lot of context there because like Ann Coulter has unpacked the Indian community many times. It's not like fresh and new. But I think some of you guys are just like coming from this like American first lens. Like it's very strange. Like at some of the movie theaters out here, they'll keep putting like a whole bunch of Bollywood movies like in Regal or AMC. And it's like, who's watching this? Like, this is definitely not a community that has like a bunch of Indian people, and I just don't think that there's like that. Like people who care about like Bollywood things would go to India and participate in Indian culture. India has a lot of people, but it isn't most of us. It isn't all of us, and like I don't give a shit. So like I don't know. I also think that India is an extremely unsafe place for women. We could talk about this year how that man and his wife, I think they were from Spain. They took a trip to India and they were just like trying to see all the touristy places, and they ended up like camping one night. Like 6 Indian men raped the girlfriend and tried to like almost like kill the husband. There's another incident that happened like last week where some medical student, like literally the other medical staff members raped and killed her like in the hospital while she was napping in between double shifts. So like the savages. It's just insane. Like I don't know. And these are the people that people keep bringing over. And here's the thing that I would say. If you're the type of person who's accountable for your culture, as in like if you're a person from anywhere, but since I was just talking about the Indian culture, if you're a person who's from that culture and you start with like you context like, hey, I realized there's all of this shit wrong with the culture that I'm from. Here's how I have like been doing the work to, you know, make it better and improve it. If that is where you're starting from, then it's like, oh, okay, so you're taking all this personal responsibility, and it's very clear that like you're trying to work through it. That isn't what we get. We get is like Vivek Ramaswamy. I've never once heard him speak to the problems with the Indian community, how those problems would impact a multicultural society like America. He just is like Indian and wants to take power, just like Kamala. She's like Indian and she just wants to take power. But like she's actually in power right now and she's doing a really bad job. So it's just like, definitely give her more power. Fuck it. Like I don't care. Okay, so moving on. The next topic is the Black Emma Chamberlain. I saw that Kiana Naomi made a video that was like, oh, I'm the single friend. I think, not to be shady or anything, I think that's because of her friend group, she's the ugly one. Not because she's actually ugly, but typically in a friend group, a multicultural friend group, and multicultural, I gotta put that in parentheses because it's typically like just Black girls who have like a parent who's like kind of Spanish or something, right? So everyone in society thinks of these people as Black, but they speak Spanish. It's like, there's a whole other sec where I could talk about Tyla being in Rio de Janeiro right now, and Rio de Janeiro being like a very mulatto place, and the mulatto caste system, which I've also broken down in other videos. But I still don't think that how can I say? I don't know of a society where people are actually like ignoring the beautiful girl and being like, oh my God, I don't like someone who's really desirable wanting to be in a relationship with you. Like I saw that girl Zoe made a video that she's all crying, I've never been in a relationship. Like all the girls who are coming online and they're being like, oh my God, I've never had a boyfriend. I guarantee you that is not the flex that, it's a flex for fathers, right? Who are like, oh, thank God, you know, like my daughter's never been hurt by a guy. If you think about this in reality though, right? Every community, every society would have like some person who would be desirable and attractive and like a man, a guy, like a group of guys or something everywhere you go. I've been to a lot of places and there's always guys who are like pretty good, like they're attractive. And I feel like the more middle class places you go to, it's gonna be like even the guys who are like not at the top of the social hierarchy are still pretty attractive. It's kind of a sort of mating happening in America. That's why people look at Americans and everyone's pretty, not everyone, but a lot of people are like kind of pretty attractive. Anyway, but there's a lot of people who aren't, but watch when you like do some history and you realize those are like all the like fresh immigrants off the boat. Like, oh, okay, yeah, that's why they look like that. They haven't had enough nutrition. They're short, they're underweight, you know, like the men are small. You'll be like, why do you look like that? They didn't have enough food. They don't have protein. Like they didn't have any calcium. I'm laughing, but it's true. These are not veneers. That's called getting nutrition as a child. And then your teeth just grow. I've never had braces or anything. I had vitamins, fruit and vegetables, water, clean water, access to toothpaste. Somebody posted like, make a video about dental hygiene. Like I'm not making a video about how to brush your teeth. If you don't know that, like somebody else can teach you that. We have something called dentistry. You should go see a dentist. I'm not that. Okay, so moving on. Oh, I didn't even make the point. The Black Emma Chamberlain. So to the Black girls who actually want to be vloggers, please don't just turn on the camera and then start like posting videos of yourself. I guess you could if you basically want to get like fashion partnerships and free clothes. Maybe that is what some people want to do. But the cool thing about Emma Chamberlain is she has a personality and a podcast. Like she actually has like thoughts and feelings and real world experiences in society. She's like the talking version of Taylor Swift, where she has like integrated into society, has real stories and real experiences, real friends. Like she's a real person. You should aim to be that. And one way to do that, instead of like reinventing the wheel, like she's putting out these videos like every other day on Spotify. Go listen to it, and then whatever topic she's covering, remix the topic with your own lived experience. There, I just gave you free content. The cost of living abroad. So I've been following these like Black influencers, and now they're like making videos, and I've been in every comment I'll post the same thing, and they're finally starting to make the videos because I think they kind of understand. The reason people know that America's so cool and great is because of influencers. Okay, like influencers, first it was celebrities who had access to like the top notch, right? Like the Michelin, the 5-star Michelin shit. But okay, so if you're not getting 5-star Michelin shit, they're still 4-star, 3-star, 2-star, 1-star. Okay, no stars, but still an experience. Influencers have been taking us through all of those. Depending on who you're following, you will get an experience that's on the tier, and all of those count, all of those cost money, and all of those are cool. So depending on how much money you have, that's which influencer you follow, and that's what you can like do that shit. Like if you want to be like a middle class girl with an apartment, follow me. And like middle class girl with apartment and job, that is my lane. Okay, follow me. I'll show you what to do. Go follow my Instagram or my food blogs. That's how you do it. Like I literally tell you, I've made like so many videos on how to do it. You could just go, right? Like my lifestyle, I chose it because I saw it's like proven and worked. Like my aunt, and her aunt too all did it and it worked. And she's had a lot of sisters that did other things and they did not work. Tried and true. It's a proven path. Anyway, moving on. The next topic is Ukraine. So America right now is giving a bunch of money to Ukraine and Russia, and I don't care. I don't care. I think it's crazy that like more people aren't upset. More Americans aren't upset that the money isn't going here. Like, especially if you're a Black American, like y'all do realize like Ukraine is getting reparations right now. What is it, like I think we've donated $127 billion at this point. Black Americans haven't gotten a red cent for 400 years of slavery. Make it make sense. You do realize the Holocaust affected Jewish people in like Nazi Germany, and they got American dollars of reparations. Make it make sense. It's because Black people don't care about the Black experience, and it's fine. Like, you can't make them. You can care if you, there's logic, right? And there's reason, and then there's stupidity. And unfortunately, a lot of Black Americans, their literacy rates are low. Their ability to critically think is low. So things that make sense to other groups, they're not going to advocate or support it because they're not smart, right? Anyway, not all of them, I'm just saying a few. Any Black person who's literally opposed to reparations, think about this. Why is everyone sitting here talking about people from the Palestinian side right now? Everyone's talking about Ta-Nehisi Coates. Ta-Nehisi Coates. Ta-Nehisi Coates cares about reparations. The reason that I became a writer is because Ta-Nehisi Coates wrote The Case for Reparations. And then Nicole Hannah-Jones created the 1619 Project. You can disagree or agree with maybe like teaching these things in schools, but you can't really deny the validity of those two pieces. Those two pieces are strictly facts. And there are very narrative, descriptive versions of American history and Black history. And what I see happening is the Palestinian group, the Arab group, kind of literally taking that research and taking that framework that Nicole Hannah-Jones and Ta-Nehisi Coates and a lot of other civil rights leaders, Black leaders in America have created, and they are using that to try to establish empathy for themselves. Now, the problem that I have is I'm not sure if they gave that, if it was reciprocal. Like, I don't remember them giving that same empathy to Black Americans as we were going through those struggles and as we were in the fight. Like, so many people didn't care. Many people chastised. Like, you do realize, like, I posted videos about this not very long ago. There were hungry Ethiopians who were trotting through some Arabian part of North Africa to try to get toward food, and a whole bunch of Arab people just shot them dead. There was no empathy there. They shot them because they were Black and they were poor and they were trotting through their town. They did not care. There was no empathy there. That was not that long ago. That was this year. You can't, this is what I mean. There was actually one of my dance teachers, Mr. Savage. He said something and I thought it was cruel at the time, but now I see it as truth. Revenge is a dish best served cold. When people do you wrong, when people are doing wrong, you have to enable them to learn the lesson. I feel like the compassionate thing to do is to guide them toward the lesson. Help them learn the lesson, but don't try to pick up the thumbtack and make it so that they are absolved of the lesson. Because if they don't learn the lesson, they will not improve. And if they do not improve, they will not function. And that's what we have now, a bunch of non-functional people. Here's another thing I kind of want to interject this into, because the more that I've been learning about Mormonism and the Mormon story, specifically, like, it seems like foundational Mormons, they have this story of Ham. And I guess, like, Ham is a person who was angry about something in his family, and he ends up killing his father. And the big idea around Mormonism is that Black people are descendants of Ham, and because Ham killed his father, it's like a sin, and so therefore Black people are sinful. And there's all of these other things that like trickle down beyond that, like people having this demonization of Black cats, right? Because they think that the Black cats are also descendants of Ham and represent demons and all of these things. So that's sort of this like religious context that I just want to insert. If people didn't know the story, please go read about it for yourself to kind of understand where it stems from. But I want to go back for a second to this idea of what's actually happening right now, because like, let's just talk about things that have happened maybe in the last 4 or 5 generations, like slavery and Jim Crow and all these atrocities in America specifically. Now we have like quite a lot of American crimes that have not been, like, there's been no justice for American crimes. So I made the comparison of Hurricane Katrina to Hurricane Helene. And now there's another hurricane coming to Florida, Hurricane Milton. And so some images that I've been seeing are like, there's a guy who basically was like a nurse, and his girlfriend and his dog tried to take a boat out and save someone. And they ended up drowning in this like Titanic-esque ritual, like just drowned right in. They found the dead dog and the body of the guy, and she was holding on to a stick or something. And it was just like, wow, this is like literally a scene from Titanic. I feel like all of these movies about like the Renaissance and all of these movies that white Americans have made about experiences, some of them are very dramatic, some of them are historical, they're replaying out. Like what we're seeing is the like Hurricane Katrina playing out for like white Americans, and it's fucking fascinating. Like it's like, wow, I am happy to have some popcorn right now and take a seat. Like what's happening in Ukraine, I'm sorry, I'm neutral about it. I don't think we should be sending money there because there's shit that's happening here. So feel your feelings. All of the hurricanes, I'm also very neutral about those. I think that, you know, I think that karma will take its toll on America. I think this is just one way that it's happening. Like it's the rural white communities who have typically held extremely like racist and problematic views. Those are the people who are being wiped out. There's some people in Northern Carolina or something, and those are Black communities, it looks like they're being wiped out. But I don't know, I call it justice. I don't know, like, sorry. But like I said, like the book, the table, it just always turns, and like sometimes you really have to fucking sit in the mirror and you just have to like, you have to watch the burn seep in. It's like you just watch somebody else sizzle. Because I kept wondering to myself, I was like, man, like I feel like I am struggling so much, and things that I deserve are not coming to me, and it's probably because other people felt like I did not deserve them. And I don't want to change their minds. I hope that you sit in that and you feel that forever. Please continue to feel that I don't deserve. Hold it. Hold it dear like a charm. Because when your day comes, I too will watch. Because one of my values, core values, is justice. Respect and justice. 2 core values that I hold. Probably revenge. I would maybe put revenge at the top. I'm a very passive aggressive revenge seeker. So don't like count me out. Anyway, Israel and Lebanon. I thought it was interesting. I saw Mark Lamar Hill posted something that like Iran is now in a neutral stance, where it is not going to allow America to use the American bases or something in Iran to bomb Lebanon. And then Mark Lamar Hill feels that this is a big deal. Like I said, I'm not interested. I mean, I don't know. What I do think is that I think that Iran, it looks like Iran, UAE, all of these really big kind of Middle Eastern countries, they don't hold democratic values that have to do with like, you know, free, basically kind of the American way of life. They don't believe in that. we're being like perfectly honest. So I really do understand the need for Israel to continue to exist in that way, because like if we don't have if there's no Israel there, kind of the Western way of life is seriously at risk. There's a lot of freedoms that are not available for women, for quite a lot of people in the Middle East. So I certainly don't agree. But them basically claiming a neutral stance, it's not neutral at all. And obviously, like, the US has allied itself with Israel. Personally, I feel, like I said, I feel neutral, but I don't think that Iran feels that way. And I feel like we are actually watching two very serious wars happening. And these wars have nothing to do with continental Africans, which I love, and it has nothing to do with Black Americans. And I love this. I really feel like, in an anthropological way, Black women who care about history and society in the future should be taking notes. This is your time to fucking observe. Watch how people react. Watch what communities start to do. Watch where their allyship is. Watch how they start talking about their heritage every fucking where they go. You know why they're talking about it? Because they want us to care. They don't care about our culture. They don't care about our heritage. They don't care about our communities. They don't care about our continent. They care about theirs that's being wiped out. All right? I've talked about Latin America for a very long time. It's on the down. It's on the down and down. That's why all the Latin Americans keep coming here. Also, it's literally called Latin America. This is America. You see what I'm saying? Like, they're already colonized. It's not the point. Anyway, it's fascinating. Anyway, I also, the last topic I want to cover are the microaggressions of the Karen. In the movie Am I Racist, Matt Walsh kind of brings up this idea of like Karens who feel bad about being racist, and he's like, you guys actually didn't do anything that's racist, so why do you feel that way? He makes a good point. They just were being parts of society. But then there's a whole other thing that's like literally just being like a decent member of being a decent member in society, in the community, is very difficult. Like, because you can't, like, when you see something happening that's wrong, you can't just stand by. Most people in society from all the groups, and especially I really want to call out the people of color groups right now, because they're having a moment where their own communities are targeted, right? Like the Indian community is trying to have this, like, they're trying to make fetch a thing, and it ain't happening, right? We've got like the Latin American community who believes everyone else cares, and maybe some people do, but I'm sorry, I don't. I feel like it's an Afro moment forever. Just like the continent of Africa is what I personally care about, and you make your own choice. But I also feel like if you are a Black girl, right? This is a Black girl space primarily. Well, I am a Black girl, obviously, but like anyone is free to engage in the space, but like a core part of my identity is being a Black girl. Like I don't know, like it just is. And I'm like actually very proud of that, because like there are all of these things I've learned about how to maneuver the world and how to navigate society, given that I am a Black girl. And I like that. They're life skills that are very handy, actually. Anyway. So the microaggressions of Karens, the reason it's useful to just understand what they are is to understand how to deal with them. Like, there are strategies to get around the Karens in society, like, or at least figure out how to deal with them, because they're not going away. If you stay here, you're going to come across them. You're going to have to deal with them. We all do. It's awful. We all hate it. But you don't get to run from them. I know, we all wish we could, but also, not all white women are Karens, so I feel like I've said that before, and it's not like, it doesn't really need to be said, but if you are a Karen, you probably know. And I know too. We all know Karen. Also, if your name is Karen, but you're not a Karen, then, you know, if it don't apply, let it fly. These are some of the things I wanted to cover today. Other stuff we'll talk about a bit later. Yeah. All right.